Yesterday was great. We had a great talk. That hour flew
with
by
Chris
so
Hall, right? Chris
fast.
Hall.
Oh, absolutely. That was
Yeah.
awesome.
And
And
basically, we saw that basically when you do try and come out with natural law and stuff that's outside the conventional, you will be labeled as crazy. I think we can all agree on that. That's
oh, for
genuinely
sure.
the payment. That's the payment we have to make, is to be seen as crazy. I mean, what do you think?
Absolutely. No, oh, that comes with the territory. That's something that's inevitable, and shields up. You got to be prepared for that. Once you apply it, and especially if you're doing the self work, the shadow work, that shit's got to just bounce right off you. But
Sure,
the system's set up that way, right?
sure, sure. It's a perfect totalitarian state. Anyone who tries to show people a way out of this control system will be sidelined as crazy. Yeah.
Yep. Stoned, exiled, the works.
Yeah. Siberia.
Yeah, I'm prepared. Ever since I was in my crazy teens, I was always that guy that couldn't keep his mouth shut, said the wrong thing at the wrong time,
Sure.
told someone to fuck off or something, but my
I like him
basis was,
already.
yeah, right. I was pretty wild and aggressive, but in a good way. Looking back on it, I never started shit. Morality was always huge, especially
Mm.
in my family line. That was the core essence. So
Yeah, and you said that your father was a strong figure for you, so
yeah.
uh, that's more than I can say. Um, but yeah, no, I sensed immediately when I first saw you on the Facebook group that you're a good soul. I can tell that pretty quickly.
Yeah, likewise, man, appreciate that.
Um, yeah, so open topic. I don't know much I haven't got much to say. I don't know. Have you been noticing oddnesses about the internet your end? I mean,
Oh
there's
yeah.
certain irregularities going on with my internet, and I don't think it's anything to do with my server or my Wi-Fi or my router. I think it's genuinely the internet itself. And to come back to that Oliver St. John person, he did say in his last bulletin that the internet would start winding down since Monday, the 23rd of March, or Sunday,
Interesting.
the 23rd of March. So maybe this whole internet craze is starting to wind down very slowly. Obviously, I'm not massively pleased about that because all my work is online, and I wouldn't want all my life's work to disappear. But if that's the way it is, that's the way it is. Have you noticed any oddities, irregularities in your internet activity, stuff that is happening that doesn't usually happen, or have you noticed that your end?
One thing I've noticed is it seems like everything's in a bubble right now, right?
Mm,
Especially with the whole coronavirus COVID thing.
right.
um it's almost like tunnel vision. And even I've noticed, like, on the algorithms and stuff on my social media accounts and stuff, it's just I'm missing a lot of stuff. It seems,
Right.
you know, people that normally are posting information and stuff, I don't see that on my news feeds or anything.
I
Um,
mean, I'm forbid until tomorrow, the 1st of April, which is April Fools. I can't post on any group.
oh yeah, you're banned, huh?
Yeah, I'm banned, or I'm always being banned. But tomorrow it lifts, so I'll be able to share. But I can't share stuff from my blog site because that's been banned as well. So
Oh,
um,
really? Even the blog
yeah,
site, huh?
yeah, it's being completely banned.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
so I've found a way out of it, which is I did an advert image graphic with like the address on the graphic, but you have to actually type it into the URL search bar. Not, you can't just click on it. And that's the way I found out the way to publicize my work was to do that. I can't put any links to my blog site on Facebook.
Gotcha.
Um, yeah, so
That was
the
actually
internet.
one thing that Mark was talking about in the workshop, was to completely detach from certain platforms,
Sure,
get like a private server. So, everything's off that. So it can't really be shut down
sure,
unless the internet's
sure.
shut down, so, but
Sure, And yeah, and I think the question there is having the skills and know-how to do that, and the willpower to learn to do that.
Yeah, that's a lot of work and a lot of skill
It is a
sets
lot of
too to learn.
work. It is a lot of work. I mean, but as Passio says, many hands make light work. Yeah, so
Sure.
not everyone has to do it. It's just enough hands have to do that, and then the other hands can do the other stuff. See, so here's Manly P. Hall, The Secret Teachings of All Ages, right? Now, you can't see on the video, but it's that this book is dedicated to the rational soul of the world. Did you notice that dedication?
Yeah, I think I did.
Yeah. Have you ever asked yourself, well, what is that? What is the rational soul of the world?
I don't think I have asked that question to me
Yeah, well,
myself.
I worked it out. It's very interesting. I'll bring it up in my blog. I hope I find it.
God, The Secret Teachings of All Ages is just a phenomenal piece of work, man.
Phenomenal expose. Yeah, phenomenal expose.
How many pages does this have? It's got about almost 800. Oh, that's crazy.
That's it. So basically, this is what I discovered. Okay, so with regard to Hull, I noted earlier, I'm reading from my blog. With regard to Hull, I noted early on that his book, The Secret Teachings of All Sages, as I like to call it, was dedicated to the rational soul of the world. What does that mean? In fact, the text of Hull's masterwork gives us the answer in the section entitled The Bacchic and Dionysiac Rites. Quote, "The heart of Bacchus is the immortal center of the rational soul. After the rational soul has been distributed throughout creation and the nature of man, the Bacchic mysteries were instituted for the purpose, of disentangling it from the irrational titanic nature. The disentanglement was the process of lifting the soul out of the state of separateness into that of unity. The various parts and members of Bacchus were collected from the different corners of the earth. When all the rational parts are gathered, Bacchus is resurrected." And that's from chapter 4, The Ancient Mysteries and Secret Societies, part 3, the Bacchic and Dionysiac Rites. So then I write, thus we can conclusively suggest that the rational soul of the world to which the secret teachings of all sages is dedicated, and by way of which it is resurrected, is none other than Bacchus himself. And indeed, Hall's extensive travels and acquiring of rare volumes confirm that he had to collect the various parts and members of Bacchus from the different corners of the earth in order precisely to serve the god's disentanglement from the titanic irrational forces of the world. There you go. So wow. The book is dedicated to Bacchus and is in itself the resurrection of Bacchus, the Greek god.
Yeah. Oh, that's fascinating.
And basically what you find out is this is also, so Nietzsche, who I mentioned before, the whole God is dead thing, he was a self-designated disciple of the philosopher Dionysus, with an O. And then I write, as regards the relationship between Bacchus and Dionysus, Hall continues, quote, "The rites of Dionysus were very similar to those of Bacchus, and by many these two gods are considered as one. Bacchus, representing the soul of the mundane sphere, was capable of an infinite multiplicity of form and designations. Dionysus apparently was his solar aspect." And of course, concerning this solar aspect, some of us will readily recall these words from Zarathustra's prologue in the book Thus Spoke Zarathustra. "One morning, with the dawn of morning, he rose, stepped out before the sun and spoke to it thus: 'Greetings, great star, what would your happiness be were it not for those whom you illumine?'" In short, basically, my friend, Nietzsche was a servant of Dionysus with a no. Manly P. Hall was a servant of Bacchus. And when you combine Dionysus and Bacchus, you have Dionysus with a U. That's it. That's the combination.
Wow.
Friedrich Nietzsche, Mani Pihol, and that gives you Dionysus. And as Nietzsche said, what's the antithesis of Dionysus? It's the crucified. The crucified in popular culture is Damien from the Omen. Have you seen the Omen?
Oh man, years ago.
All right. Well, the Antichrist in the Omen is called Damien.
That's right.
And people think it means demon. No, it doesn't. It comes from the Greek damasdo, to tame, to domesticate.
Mm,
Essentially, the Christian Antichrist, the crucified, is the one who tames mankind, domesticates it, makes it weak, stupid, brutal. And that's the way I see it. And the antithesis to that is the Dionysian Antichrist. So I mean, my own name. I mean, I don't want to be a cheap salesman, but my own name's interesting because
yeah,
Roma actually comes from the Greek for Romi, like Rome. It means empowerer. And that's the difference, whether we tame mankind, make it weak, stupid, brutal, resentful, or we empower it. That's the real dichotomy. What kind of antichrist do we want? The one who tames mankind or the one who empowers mankind? That's the conflict between the crucified and Dionysus, as I see it.
that's
But
awesome.
yeah, essentially, the secret teachings of all ages is not only dedicated to Bacchus, but is the resurrection of Bacchus. This is the rational soul of the world in and of itself against the Titans, because obviously Bacchus was eaten by the Titans and then cut into pieces, eaten, but then his heart was preserved or something like that. Anyway,
Mm.
this is the resurrection of Bacchus, and Mani Hall was a servant of Bacchus. That was his god. That's the hidden meaning of the secret teachings of all ages.
Oh wow. That's great, man. You threw a whole wrench in the mix on that. I love it.
That's right.
I love
um
it. That's
yeah, it's like right there staring us right in the face. It's dedicated to the rational soul of the world, and yet you got to put two and two together, right? You got to find out what the rational soul of the world actually is.
did that stick out to you when you first read that? Did you see the seed?
It came to me very late. I'd read The
Okay.
Secret Teachings of All Ages once very quickly. I'd studied Manny P. Hall and various of his books, lectures, etc. But I was rereading The Secret Teachings of All Ages, and then I came across the passage I quoted to you about the rational soul of the world. And then I thought, hang on, who's this book dedicated to? And then I realized I put two and two together.
That's
Because I've acquired a good habit. I recommend it. Actually, it's really been helpful. Reading out loud. We're accustomed to reading quietly to ourselves, but if you got the opportunity to, and you're not going to bother anyone around you, I recommend just reading texts, valuable texts out loud, and you get so much more. I find
Oh, I
from reading out
completely
loud.
agree. I try to do that technique. It's well for me personally, it's a world of difference as far as memory. And I mean, I talk to myself all the time, anyways. It's good to have a
Exactly.
conversation when I'm driving around
And they
working.
say it's the first sign of madness, but I see it as the first sign of the basics of self-transparency.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, you got to have that
It's
that
the first
dialogue.
sign you have any depth, basically, is you start talking to yourself. First sign you have any depth.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. Yeah, that's a great technique too. And there's something powerful. I love going back. I almost like if I'm reading a book or checking out material, I'll just detach and just listen to the information.
Hmm.
Then I'll go back and I'll study it and I'll get in
Hmm.
depth, use some intuition, then research certain parts. But there's something amazing about reading or going over something again 2 or 3
Hmm.
times,
Sure. Sure.
especially at
Uh,
different time periods of your life as well.
yeah.
Um,
Sure. Because once you grow in consciousness, you'll pick up on things you didn't pick up on before, right?
exactly,
You know.
exactly.
Um,
Pattern
this is
recognition.
something I think something that I realized uh, recently is we can only meet others at the level we inhabit, and that's the thing, like I was saying to Chris Hall and yourself yesterday, that we can only show people the way to the mountain of enlightenment. We can't carry them all the way. You know, we can only show them the way. It's everyone has to negotiate this mountain for themselves. You know.
Yeah.
And then once you reach the mountain and the top, you have to come down and teach the way up. You know, you have to go up and then down again.
Yeah. No, absolutely. You're right. Have you experienced any kind of I'm a huge pattern guy, right? I mean, there's so much to be said with patterns,
Patterns, yeah. Oh my
patterns of
god.
behavior. I mean, it's
Also, I'm very much into number recognition, numbers.
okay. Like gematria.
But yeah, numerology, gematria. Go ahead, there. What were you going to say?
No, I was just going to ask techniques on increasing pattern recognition. You know, I mean, well, pattern recognition is going to increase on levels of consciousness for sure.
Yeah, that's the whole point about keeping a magical diary is you train yourself to note everything down as it comes to you. That's part of the requirement for initiation in the Order of the Star, Order Astri. You have to keep a magical diary.
And with a lot of traditions as well. The first
I
tradition I got into
I'm
was
a big
Franz
believer.
Barden. Go on.
Yeah, I'm a big believer in writing things down.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
What's that? What tradition?
Franz Barden.
Right. How do you
Yeah.
spell Barden?
Bardon.
All right.
I got
Okay.
his. He's got a three book series, right? The first one, pretty somewhat popular. It's the initiation into Hermetics,
Oh wow,
and
that's a
this
nice
is
book.
a literal handbook of of the tradition. It's I mean, it's Kabbalistic.
Mm.
Um, it's great. Yeah, volume 1 of the Holy Mysteries. But you know, the very first step is you know, a magical diary, observing
Yeah.
yourself, everything,
Yeah.
all behaviors, thoughts as well.
Mm.
And there's something powerful with doing that, especially well, you're able to pick up your patterns.
Yeah, and patterns in what addresses itself to you uh, every day. Um, that's what attention means. Attention is what makes us attend. You know, that's I think union with the divine comes through attention, paying attention, concentration. You know,
Yeah, the
not
two
taking not
spiritual
taking
currencies too,
not
right? Time
taking
and
not
attention.
taking shit for granted. You know, not taking shit for granted. Look, and that's what Hiram Abiff. That's what the legend means. He was trying to build a temple in gratitude to the miracle of being, and he was cut down by ignorance, apathy, and cowardice. You
Yeah,
know, that's what we're up against all the time: is ignorance, apathy, cowardice, thoughtlessness, carelessness, laziness. You know, so
that's right.
um, I mean, but that joins us. That joins with our first conversation about building the temple of our own body, and also in the form of our own creativity, building that temple, regardless of what threatens to destroy it. You know, I would
Yeah.
label myself a hermetic hermit. Um, I came to Hermeticism quite late. I was really blown. I mean, the Kabbalion. I first heard the Kabbalion in audiobook format, and it blew my mind away. I just thought, shit, this is profound, and it's so well written, and it's simple, you know.
Yeah.
And if you familiar with the Kabbalion?
Oh, I
You
love
know,
it.
um,
It's one of the
it's
top books.
it's the key. You know, it's the key, the master key that unlocks all the doors, right?
I got that same edition. I love that.
All right, the
Got the
centenary
gold
edition.
trim.
The
Yeah,
centenary edition. Yeah,
that's right. Yeah, I love that.
yeah. Actually, as an irony, it's the key that unlocks all the keys. It's also got at page 93. It's also got all my password information.
I love it.
it's
That's
like
great.
it's like the key, and that's what the film, The Cube. Have you seen the film Cube?
Oh man, a friend of mine recommended that movie. I haven't seen it. But it's supposed to be
because
a mind blower, right?
that's what Kybalion means in Greek. Kubos means dice.
Oh, like,
And
okay.
it's the cube. You know, the cube means dice in Greek. And the way I read the title, the Kybalion, it's basically the key to unlock the cube, because in the film Cube, where humanity, basically allegorically speaking, humanity is stuck in this huge cube prison, and they have to find their way out of the cube.
Mm.
And that's what the Kybalion does. It gives you the key out of the cube of mind control.
Oh,
So
absolutely.
I'll refer you to my blog. It's a blog post called Esotericism in the Film Cube. It might interest you. Esotericism in the Film Cube.
Is that related to the hypercube? Is that
Yes, because the sequel to the film Cube was subtitled Hypercube.
mm,
Believe it or not. I haven't
got it.
seen the sequel. But it's a very occult-driven film. I've only seen the first film in the series called Cube, and it mentions tarot. It mentions all kinds of occult traditions. On my blog, it features as Fort 154. Yeah. And I don't want to give any more away. I mean, basically, I invite you to see the film before reading my blog post, because my blog post has spoilers.
Got it. I'll do that.
But yes, as the Kybalion says, the principles of truth are 7. He who knows these, understanding me, possesses the magic key before whose touch all the doors of the temple fly open. There you go.
Yeah. They say that book will find you, right? You don't find it, it'll find you.
You'll find you, and you earn the right to it through spiritual laws.
Yeah.
I mean, Mark had mentioned it on his Demystifying the Occult video presentation, but I only cottoned onto it on my own, sort of on my own thought path quite late. But yeah, it was a huge, it blew my mind away. And I've tried to reformulate the principles in even less terms than the book.
Mm.
That's on my homepage, my blog. Basically, the way I formulate them, and again, everyone will agree or disagree, but I'll be interested to hear your opinion. So basically, mentalism, the all is mind. Correspondence, the all is in all. Vibration, all is in motion. Polarity, all sides have flip sides. Rhythm, all that rises falls. Causation, all is based in law. Gender, all is generated. And then the flip side to that is gender. Generation is all. Causation, law is the basis of all. Rhythm, all that falls rises. Polarity, all flip sides have sides. Vibration, motion is in all. Correspondence, all is in the all. Mentalism, mind is the all. That's how I formulated the principles.
Oh, that's great. I love that.
Yeah, so basically, it's all important to realize that because of polarity, that each principle has its flip side.
Yeah.
It's like yin and yang, right? So I did one section in white against black against white background, and the other flip side, white against black background, to get the yin and yang effect.
That's great. I love it.
I also link that to I mean, this is more controversial because we're kind of, it's more on the prosaic sphere, but I did a blog post called Medication versus Medicine, and according to the secret teachings of all sages, the causes of disease and the remedies against disease are also 7 in number. So I won't read them out to you, but that's also on my blog, in a blog post called Medication versus Medicine.
Fascinating.
Manipiho lists the Hermetic causations of the Hermetic theory concerning the causations of disease and the remedies against disease, and they're very different from mainstream science and mainstream medicine. It'd be ridiculed by most people and by most doctors, and yet I think they're actually accurate as a whole, I
Yeah.
think they're generally accurate.
The Hermeticists would understand it more than the mainstream
Yeah, I mean,
allopaths.
of course, the Swiss Hermes was Paracelsus, right? He's the one who the Hermetic medicine is really indebted to.
Yeah. Herbal alchemy, which is a passion of mine.
Right, wow, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. I love I'm very much in-depth student at the moment of spagyrics, right? Which is herbal alchemy, which is using the laws as well as working with the whole plant and the correspondence
Right,
of energies. So
amazing.
yeah, I mean the hermetic principles, I love how they work. They intertwine, they work together at one.
Completely,
You can
completely,
recognize them, the patterns in your everyday life within yourself.
completely,
It's
completely.
amazing once, and you can study these principles over and
Till the
over
end
for
of
a
time,
lifetime, man. And
till the
yeah,
end of
exactly.
time.
It just gets deeper and deeper.
I'm tempted to read out the causes and remedies of disease, since you seem to know a lot about this area.
Go for it.
Um,
Let's do it.
okay, typically I lost the page. Bear with me. Medication v medicine. So, um, causes of disease. One. This will be controversial, but causes of disease. One. Evil spirits. Two. Derangement of the spiritual nature and the material nature. Three. Unhealthy or abnormal mental attitude. Four. Karma, that is, the law of compensation. Five. Motion and aspects of the heavenly bodies. Six. Misuse of faculty, organ, or function. Seven. Presence in the system of foreign substances, impurities, or obstructions. Remedies against disease. 1. Spells and invocations. 2. Vibration. 3. Talismans, charms, and amulets. 4. Herbs and simples. 5. Prayer. 6. Regulation of the diet and daily habits of life. 7. Practical medicine. That's it.
Oh man, that that
As,
that hits
as
home for
Hall
me.
as Hall wisely observes, quote, disease is unnatural and is evidence that there is a maladjustment within or between organs or tissues. Permanent health cannot be regained until harmony is restored. The outstanding virtue of Hermetic medicine was its recognition of spiritual and psychophysical derangements as being largely responsible for the condition which is called physical disease.
Yeah,
Actually,
dis-ease.
this is even more to the point. Again, from Manny P. Hall, The Secret Teachings. Quote, the philosophers of all ages have taught that the visible universe was but a fractional part of the whole, and that by analogy, the physical body of man is in reality the least important part of his composite constitution. Most of the medical systems of today almost entirely ignore the superphysical man. They pay but scant attention to causes and concentrate their efforts on ameliorating effects. Paracelsus, noting the same proclivity on the part of physicians during his day, aptly remarked, there is a great difference between the power that removes the invisible causes of disease and which is magic, and that which causes merely external effects to disappear, and which is physic, sorcery, and quackery. There you go, Paracelsus.
Paracelsus, man, that's
Nothing's
amazing.
changed. It was completely focused on the effect and improving the effect, nothing on causes.
Exactly. It's so inverted, the whole system.
Exactly. It's black magic. It's black magic. It's
Yep,
inversion. And
exactly.
yet we would be accused of being black magicians, you know.
Yeah, yeah, even consciousness is inverted, right? For the majority.
Completely. But you know, we I mean that's why Mark's right. We're under the spell of sorcerers,
Yeah,
you know,
that's right.
because black magic inverts, right? It's the black sun. So
Exactly.
and that's a very ancient, unfortunately it's a very ancient tradition. It brought Egypt to ruin. It brought, you know, I mean, Hall dates it back to Atlantis in the Secret Teachings, you know.
Yeah.
Um, but it's not creative, right? It's that's what Manny P. Hall writes. Black magic is not a fundamental art. It is the misuse of an art. Therefore, it has no symbols of its own. It merely takes the emblematic figures of white magic and by inverting and reversing them signifies that it is left-handed. So
Mm.
it's not creative. It's just inverting.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, like monai and money, right? Money inverts the monai principle. You know.
Yeah.
Um,
It's definitely it's a science, right? And it can be used for bad or good.
It can be
And
used for egotistical self-advancement or for soulful true will, the way of the soul. You know, that's essentially Satan is ego, God is soul. I mean it's very simple. It is, I
exactly.
think basically that's the dichotomy, right? Your
Yep, for
soul or
sure.
your ego.
Yeah.
You gotta choose soul or ego. You know, is it gonna be your careering ego or your soulful growth? You know,
Yeah.
career or growth. There you go. You got another dichotomy: career or growth. There you go.
Perfect. Yeah, it's interesting too that, you know, we incarnate on this this plane of existence
Mm,
and gain an ego, right?
yeah,
So that's the whole goal, is to uh conquer or integrate. And well, we're not going to have the ego when we pass on, as far as the lowercase ego,
sure,
but you know, there's still those qualities and attributes that we're going to take with us, you know, I
sure.
believe.
I mean, that's also something I write in my profile description on my blog is integrity comes from integration, and integration comes from integrity. It's like a mutually reinforcing duo. You know,
Yeah.
we have integrity by becoming integrated, and we become integrated through integrity and integrity alone. So those two elements need to be present.
Yeah, absolutely.
Um, Actually, the seven sages, there are sort of Greek seven sages. I put them on my profile. So there's Gnoti Seauton, know thyself, Meden Agan, nothing beyond measure, Melite to pan, take beings into care, Hoi pleistoi kakoi, the majority are bad. That tells you everything you need to know about democracy or majority rule. You know, Hoi
Yeah, for
pleistoi
sure.
kakoi, the majority are bad. Kalipon Estlon Eminai, it is hard to be good.
Mm.
Yes, nothing's changed.
Yeah, no.
Kalipon Estlon Eminai, it is hard to be good.
Business as usual.
That's right.
Yeah, I finding the causes on even a simple level, right? Day to day,
Mm,
or with health, is something I like to do on a day-to-day basis, you know.
mm.
Even with my daughter, you know, she's almost 7 and stuff.
Ah,
Uh,
so you're a father. Great.
oh yeah, yeah,
How,
absolutely.
what's your age in sort of years? I mean, conventional years. What's your age?
Oh, I'm 38.
38. Okay,
Yep.
I'm 34. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, Brilliant.
Yeah,
Okay.
no. Oh man, it's a journey in itself, man. You know, I'm a father and a student of her, right? Because
Mm,
one thing I've noticed. Oh, that's what I was going to say about causality. Watching her operate and seeing the causes and then the effects of how she operates, it's mind blowing to me. Kids,
mm.
it's amazing. Kids come into this world already knowing natural law.
That's right. And then we take
It's
it out of
And
them.
we take exactly. And for me, and that's like almost my goal, is to just preserve her essence on that, right?
Preserve her heightened consciousness.
For sure. Yeah. No, we homeschool and we try to do the works as best as we can, you know. And but it's amazing how they know it so well, you know.
That's right. Uh,
So I'm learning from her as she's learning from me, you know.
there's a
That's
quote that was a quote that's attributed to Johann Wolfgang von Goethe. If children grew up according to early indications, we should have nothing but geniuses.
a fact for sure.